Hello, my name is Peter and welcome to the part 2 of this video tutorial. If you're first time here, I will put into the description below a link to the part 1 of this tutorial, and please subscribe to my channel. And yes, of course, you are more than welcome to comment, like and share this video. So now we'll start with around 15. We'll slip stitch into the next double crochet and into the chain 2 space. We'll work on our beginning shell with a chain 3, double crochet, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets into the same chain 2 space. Into the next chain 2 space we'll work a shell. So 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets into the same space. Now we'll chain 3 and over the next 3 stitches we'll work a double crochet 3 together. So in each double crochet we'll leave our last 2 loops on our hook. And third one, now we have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 4 of them. Chain 3 and again into the next chain 2 space we'll work a shell. So 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets into the same space. And into the next chain 2 we'll work a shell. Chain 3, work double crochet 3 together over the next 3 stitches. So that's first, second and third. 4 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 4 of them. Chain 3 and we'll repeat this pattern around. Okay, so we will start with around 16. First we'll slip stitch into the next double crochet and into the chain 2 space. We'll start with our beginning shell with a chain 3, double crochet into the same space, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets into the same space. Like that. Now we'll chain 3, 1, 2 and 3 and shell into the next shell. So 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets into the same space. That. Now we'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3 and on top of the next 3 double crochets together you'll work a single crochet, chain 3 and shell in the next shell. Chain 3, shell in the next shell. And we'll repeat this pattern around. So we'll chain 3 on top of the next 3 double crochets together, we'll work a single crochet, chain 3 and shell in the next shell. chain 3, shell in the next shell. Chain 3, and again single crochet on top of the next 3 double crochets together of the previous round. Chain 3 and shell over the next shell, and we'll repeat this pattern throughout the round number 16, and we'll end this round with a chain 3 and slip stitch into the third chain. Let's start with a round 17, slip stitch into the next double crochet and into the chain 2 space. We'll work on our beginning shell with a chain 3, double crochet, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets into the same space. Okay. Now we'll chain 3 and into the second chain of our chain 3 space we'll work a double crochet into the second chain, then we'll chain 3 and shell into the next shell. Now we'll chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll work a shell into the next shell. So we'll skip this chain 3, single crochet and chain 3, go straight into the next shell and work a shell in a shell. Okay. Chain 3, and we'll repeat this pattern around. So into the second chain of our chain 3 space we'll work a double crochet, then we'll chain 3 and shell into the next shell. Chain 5, 3, 4 and 5 and shell into the next shell. Chain 3 again, and into the second chain of our chain 3 space we'll work a double crochet, and we'll repeat this pattern around. We'll end round 17 with a chain 5 and slip stitch into the third chain. We will start with around 18, slip stitch into the next double crochet and into the chain 2 space. Work on our beginning shell with chain 3, double crochet, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets into the same space. Now I'll chain 3 and on top of the double crochet of the previous round we'll work 3 double crochets. So 3 double crochets into the same stitch. That's 1, 2, 3. Chain 3 and shell in the next shell. chain 3, and shell in the next shell. Like that. We have our shell and a shell, chain 3. On top of the next double crochet we work 3 double crochets into the same stitch, chain 3, shell over a shell, chain 3 and shell over the next shell. In previous round we worked chain 5, now we work only chain 3. And we'll repeat this pattern around. So chain 3, in the next double crochet we'll work 3 double crochets into the same stitch, that's 2, 3, chain 3, shell in the next shell, chain 3 and shell in the next shell. Chain 3, and again in the next double crochet we'll work 3 double crochets into the same stitch, chain 3, shell in the next shell, and we'll repeat this pattern around. We will end this round with a chain 3 and slip stitch into the third chain. Yeah. We will start with round 19, slip stitch into the next double crochet and into the chain 2 space. We will work on our beginning shell with a chain 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets into the same space. So, chain 3, and now we have our 3 double crochets. We will work 2 double crochets into the first one, one and 2, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and 2 double crochets into the last double crochet. So in this round we will have 5 double crochets, 2 into the first, 1 into the next and 2 into the last. Chain 3 and work a shell into the shell. So shell is 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets into the same chain 2 space. Now we will chain 1 and work a shell into the next shell. And we will repeat this pattern around. So chain 3, 2 double crochets into the next double crochet, 1 double crochet into the next one, and 2 double crochets into the next double crochet, chain 3 and shell into the next shell. chain 1 and shell into the next shell. Chain 3, and we'll repeat this pattern around, and we'll end this round with our last shell in a shell, chain 1 and slip stitch into the third chain. Round number 20, slip stitch into the next double crochet and into the chain 2 space, chain 3, and we will work on our beginning shell, double crochet, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets into the same space. Now we will chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and here we have our 5 double crochets of the previous round, and we will work 2 double crochets into the first one, so 1 and 2, 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 double crochets of the previous round. That's 1, 2, 3, and in our last double crochet of the previous round we'll work 2 double crochets. So now we have 7 double crochets. Chain 3 and shell in the next shell. We'll skip this chain 1 and shell in the next shell. Chain 3, and we will repeat this pattern around. So 2 double crochets into the first double crochet, 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 double crochets of the previous round, so that's 2 and 3, and again in our last double crochet we'll work 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and we will have 7 double crochets in this round. Chain 3 and shell in the next shell. Shell in the next shell. Chain 3 and repeat this pattern around. We'll end this round in with a shell in a last shell, and then slip stitch into the third chain. Round 21. Slip stitch into the next double crochet and into the chain 2 space. We'll work on our beginning shell with a chain 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 2 double crochets into the same space. Chain 3, and we will work 1 double crochet in each of the next 7 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Chain 3 and shell into the next shell. Like that. Now we will chain 3 and work a shell into the next shell. Chain 3 and we'll repeat this pattern around. So into the next 7 double crochets we'll work 1 double crochet in each one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Chain 3, shell into the next shell, chain 3 and shell into the next shell. Chain 3 and repeat this around. We will end this round with a shell in a shell, chain 3 and slip stitch into the third chain of our beginning shell. Round 22. We'll slip stitch into the next double crochet and into the chain 2 space. We'll start with our beginning shell with a chain 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets into the same chain 2 space. Now we'll chain 3 and here we have our 7 double crochets, and over the first 2 stitches we'll work double crochet 2 together. So we'll work a double crochet decrease over the next 3 stitches. We'll work double crochet in each one of them. So it's 1, 2 and 3, and we have our last 2 double crochets, and again we'll work double crochet 2 together or double crochet decrease. So now we have 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chain 3 and shell in the next shell. So 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets into the same space. Now we will chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and we'll work a shell in the next shell. and we'll repeat this pattern around. I will work with you one more repeat. So first we chain 3 over the first 2 stitches. We'll work double crochet, 2 together, first part and second part. Then in next 3 double crochets work 1 double crochet, that's second and third, and double crochet 2 together in last 2 stitches. Chain 3, shell in the next shell, chain 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and shell in the next shell. And we'll repeat this pattern around. We'll end this round 22 with a shell in a shell, chain 7 and slip stitch into the third chain of our beginning shell. Round 23, we'll slip stitch into the next double crochet and into the chain 2 space. We'll work on our beginning shell, chain 3, and again we'll work a double crochet decrease. So over the next 2 stitches we'll work double crochet 2 together, double crochet into the next stitch, and again 1 double crochet decrease, chain 3, and we'll work a shell in the next shell. Now your chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Here we have our chain 7 space, and into this space we'll work 5 treble crochets with a chain 1 between. So that's 1 treble crochet, chain 1, that's 2, chain 1, 3, chain 1, 4, chain 1, and 5, chain 3. So what we have 5 treble crochets in this chain 7 space and chain 1 between them. Then we chain 3 and we work a shell in the next shell. Chain 3, and we'll repeat this pattern around. Work a double crochet decrease over the next 2 stitches, then 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and again double crochet decrease or 2 double crochets together, that. So we have 3 stitches. Chain 3, shell in the next shell, chain 3, and in next chain 7 space you'll work 5 treble crochets with a chain 1 between. So that's 1, 2, chain 1, 3, chain 1, 4, chain 1, and our last treble crochet, chain 3, and shell in the next shell. Chain 3, and we will repeat this pattern around. We will end around 23 with our 5th treble crochet into the chain 7 space, then we'll chain 3 and slip stitch into the 3rd chain of our beginning shell. Around 24, slip stitch into the next double crochet and into the chain 2 space, chain 3, and work on our beginning shell. So 2 more double crochets, 1 and 2. Now we'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and here we have our 3 stitches remaining, and we will work a double crochet 3 together over these 3 stitches. So it's first, second, and one more, 3. So 4 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 4 of them. Chain 3, and we'll work a shell in a shell. So we have a shell, then double crochet 3 together, and then chain 3 and shell in a shell. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We'll work a treble crochet in next stitch. So treble crochet, then we'll chain 2, treble crochet in next stitch, chain 2, in next stitch, treble crochet, chain 2, treble crochet in next stitch, chain 2, and treble crochet in our last stitch, chain 3, and we'll work a shell in a shell. And we will repeat this pattern around. So here we have our treble crochets with a chain 2 between them. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 treble crochets. I will work with you one more repeat. So now we'll chain 3 over the next 3 stitches, work double crochet 3 together, chain 3, shell in the next shell, chain 3. Here we have our 5 treble crochets with chain 1 between. We will work a treble crochet in each one of them and chain 2 between. So treble crochet in the first one, chain 2, treble crochet next, chain 2, treble crochet in next stitch, chain 2, treble crochet in next stitch, chain 2 and treble crochet in our last treble crochet of previous round, and then we'll chain 3 and work a shell in the next shell. And we'll repeat this pattern around. We will end this round 24 with a treble crochet in a treble crochet and then chain 3 and slip stitch into the third chain of our beginning shell. Round 25 we'll slip stitch into the next double crochet and into the chain 2 space. We'll work on our beginning shell with a chain 3, double crochet, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets. Chain 3 and we'll skip this chain 3, this stitch here and chain 3, and we will go straight into the next shell and work a shell over a shell. Chain 3 on top of each treble crochet of the previous round. We'll work a treble crochet and chain 3 between. So treble crochet into the first, chain 3, treble crochet into the next stitch, chain 3, treble crochet into the next, so this is the third one, chain 3 into the next, we'll work a treble crochet, so it's fourth, chain 3 and our last treble crochet, so it's 5. In this round we have 5 treble crochets with a chain 3 between. Chain 3, shell in the next shell, chain 3, shell in a next shell, and we will repeat this pattern around. Well, chain 3, treble crochet into the next stitch, chain 3, treble crochet into the next stitch, chain 3, treble crochet into the next, so this is third one, chain 3, treble crochet into the next stitch, it's fourth, chain 3, and our last 5th treble crochet, chain 3, and shell in the next shell. Chain 3, and again shell in the next shell. We'll repeat this around, and we'll end this round 25 with this treble crochet, chain 3, and slip stitch into the 3rd chain of our beginning shell. Round 26, slip stitch into the next double crochet and into the chain 2 space. We'll start with our beginning shell with a chain 3, double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochets into the same space. Then we'll skip this chain 3 and work a shell in the next shell. Okay, like that. Now we'll chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. In the next stitch, in the next treble crochet, we'll work a 2 treble crochet cluster. Basically what we'll do, in the same stitch, we'll work 2 treble crochet together. That's first and second. We have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 of them. Now we'll chain 4, 3, 4, and again in the next stitch we'll work a treble crochet cluster, which consists of 2 treble crochets. Again, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 of them. Chain 4 again, and in the next stitch we'll work again 2 treble crochets together in the same stitch. Chain 4, 3, and 4. In the next stitch again 2 treble crochets together, so both of them in the same stitch. One more time, chain 4, 3, and 4, and in the next treble crochet of the previous round we'll work cluster, treble crochet cluster, and now chain 4, 3, and 4, and we'll repeat this around, so we'll work a shell in the next shell, then shell in the next shell, and again we'll chain 4, 3, and 4, and in each of the next 5 treble crochets we'll work 2 treble crochets, 2 treble crochets together, or these small treble crochet clusters. So first one, then chain 4. Now we'll work on our second cluster, chain 4, our third cluster, chain 4, the next one, fourth cluster, chain 4, one more, our fifth cluster, chain 4, and then a shell in the next shell, and we will repeat this. We will end this round with our last fifth cluster in this treble crochet of the previous round. Then we'll chain 4 and slip stitch into the third chain of our starting or beginning shell. And we are at our last round, round number 27. Slip stitch into the next double crochet and into the chain 2 space, chain 1, and we will work a single crochet into the same chain 2 space. Then we'll work into the next chain 2 space. We'll work 2 single crochets, 1, 2. We'll skip these double crochets and we'll work in chain 4 space. First, 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Now we will form a picot, so chain 3 and slip stitch into the third chain from the hook, that to form a picot, and into the same chain 4 space we will work 2 more single crochets, 1 and 2. So we have 2 single crochets, picot, and 2 single crochets. Then we go into the next chain 4 space and again 2 single crochets, 1, 2. Now we'll work on our picot, so chain 3, slip stitch into the third chain from our hook, and 2 more single crochets into the same chain 4 space. Next one, 2 single crochets, picot, and 2 single crochets. The next chain 4 space, 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, chain 3, slip stitch into the third chain from hook to form a picot, and 2 single crochets into the same chain 4 space. Again, in next 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Let's make our picot, 2 more single crochets into the same space. We have 1 more chain 4 space, 2 single crochets, then picot, and 2 more single crochets, 1 and 2. Now here we have our shells. Into the chain 2 space we work 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. We go straight into the next chain 2 space, again 2 single crochets, and again we are at our chain 4 space, where we'll work as we did here. So we'll make 2 single crochets, then a picot and 2 single crochets into the next space 2 single crochets, picot, 2 single crochets. So in each chain 4 space around we'll work 2 single crochets, picot and 2 single crochets, and when we are at our shells we simply make into the chain 2 space 2 single crochets, and into the next chain 2 space 2 single crochets. So here we'll work 2 single crochets, picot, 2 single crochets, then we go into the chain 2 space where we make 2 single crochets, and into the next chain 2 space 2 single crochets again. Repeat this around. I'll meet you here at the end where we'll finish this project. Okay. And to end this project we'll slip stitch into the first single crochet that we made. Chain 1, and we can cut the thread. Fasten off. Now all we need to do is hide this tail and we are done. So hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you're first time here, please subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the comments below what you think about this project. So hope see you in my next videos, and yeah, until then, enjoy crocheting and be safe.